What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about TAR's AI, TAI today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it, all right? Here we are on the 10th of May, sitting at about 11 cents, just below 11 cents. In fact, this week we have hit 11.8 cents at the high. We're up 31% this week as it stands, up a lot more from the lows. On a daily time frame, we're up 15% right now, 8 hours left in the day here, looking like we've broken out of this bull flag. It's a very clear bull flag, right? You've got the flagpole, the flag itself. You're breaking out. It's a bull flag breakout. What we're looking for right now, I think, is a close above the 236, right? So from a low to a high, if we can close today above this price here, and I don't know, call me crazy, but I think we might just do that. That validates that not only are we in a bull flag breakout, but we are going to take out this high as well, right? We very much are on a path that is going to take us above 20 cents and beyond right now. If we're looking at this for what it is, you know, just based on the measurement of this bull flag from the low to the high here, my expectations would be that this move takes us maybe not exactly here, but somewhere around here to about 37.5 cents. That's the expectation. Could we stop a little lower? Sure. Could we stop a little higher? Sure. It's a measure move. It's not a prophecy. Anything can happen either way. High to low here, you know, if we stop right there, that's at the 1886 to 200 area. That's pretty damn good. That makes sense. You know, that makes a lot of sense that we would stop there. A lot of cryptos have been respecting this area from the current price. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. That would mean that we can expect anything from about a 3x to like a 3.6x in growth. And you know, I think that it might happen over the next 10 days, right? This last move happened. It took 8 days to form. We're already 3 days, right? I believe it did take 8 days. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On the 8th day, we moved up, right? Maybe if you want to say 10 days because of these two lows, but I think once the move got going, it was 8 days, right? Here, we're on our 3rd day. If I call for 10 more days from now that we're going to find this high, that'd be 13 days. It's a little bit more than the last one, but that's kind of what my expectation would be, is that it takes a little bit more time than the last one. Maybe it's not 13 days. Maybe it's 23 days. Maybe we have 20 days until we get there. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm okay with a 250% to a 200% growth in 20 days. I'm okay with that. 250 to 223 really. So it's a lot of growth in a very short amount of time. I don't think that it stops here, and I do think that we have more to go. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but a lot of cryptos have found significance at their 1886 200 area specifically. Now that is where your measure move is, right? That's where the measure move itself is right there. The thing is, measure moves, you can fall short. You can find resistance below, so it's important to consider that. 27 cents could be a possibility, or you could exceed it. You could go to 50 cents. Maybe you stop here perfectly, and it's like the 20th of May or something. You stop right there perfectly, and then afterwards you consolidate, and then you continue to run, and by the end of the month we're above 50 cents, we're above 60 cents. You know, who's to say that this is our end of month target? I'm just saying it's the end of move target. When or how long does it take to get there, and then not just get there but recover and then continue higher? I don't know, right? I don't believe it stops here. I believe it momentarily stops here. What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at what we did here, we ran and we had a momentary stop. You know what I mean? I think we have a momentary stop somewhere in this area, and then we continue to run. Very well, by the end of May, we could see prices that are above 40 cents, 50 cents. It wouldn't be crazy at all. And I do expect inevitably we will see that, right? From a high to a low, golden ratio 382 bounce maneuver, very, very common behavior here when working your way up to the 786, 886 area. Again, implying that we could see a lower price than what our measure move is calling for, right? And the measure move is calling for something that's just above that, right? Something just above the 886. But I really am expecting that we do see something that's just above the 886. I think that you're in a very bullish position here, and I think this bull flag outweighs the fibs right now. I mean, you didn't respect the 382 so much as support. You did respect the golden ratio, but I'm not going to expect that you find the 886 as resistance, because you didn't find resistance back here. You found resistance up here, right? Back in this time, you found resistance up at these areas, something up above 35 cents. You know what I mean? So I think that we're going to go there ultimately. If we're looking at this from the high to a low back in December to the low that we had here on April 17th, the expectation would be that we see new all-time highs by the end of this endeavor, by the end of June, if not very early July. And from the current price, the minimum, the low end of the scale, of the spectrum, of the expectations would be something on the lines of about a 10, almost an 11x. So the minimum is about an 11x from here, right? The next target area would be about $1.76, and that's at about a 16x or more, 17x from here. Likely you do go just above the 1 for 1 for, so I'm going to say 17 to 18x, right? That's the next target, and it's very possible, TARS, absolutely it is that you go and you see a 30x overall from the current price. So we could see, a $3.30 price. We could see $1.14, probably somewhere in between is what I would expect the most. But you never know, right? If we take this from a high to a low right here, high to a low right there, you did stop just above the 1.414 on this fib. It's a different length here, so I'm not saying that means that you have to do that. Maybe you just tip the 1272 and you find resistance there perfectly. But if you were to go just above the 1.414 like you did last time, $2 would provide some resistance psychologically, and it would make sense on the fibs. So I think we have an ultimate path higher. Looking at this on a 4-hour basis, 1-hour basis, getting into the short-term stuff here. 10.7 cents now. Oh, man, let's see. 1-hour RSI is looking dominant as hell, guys. Looking bullish as hell. It looks super good, yeah. Yeah, getting overbought here. Potentially holding the 60 for support. Looks good. Finding support here above your prior resistance points. What are you doing on a relative fib? Low to high? Yeah. Sounds about right. I don't think you go lower, man. If you do, if we get back below 10 cents, we can talk. I'll make a video tonight if we get below 10 cents, and we can go from there. And maybe if we were to get below 10 cents, maybe we see prices that are even below 8 cents if that happens. But the expectation is that we go higher. I really like this 1-hour RSI. I like the price. I like the volume. I like everything about it. It looks good to me. 4-hour time frame. Yes, we have a very big wick to the downside. It's a very intimidating candle here. I ain't scared, man. Bearish engulfing candle's intimidating. Bearish Maru Bazoo is intimidating. Very bearish candle at the top here. All we did was consolidate, and then we ran higher. You know what I mean? It's nothing to be afraid of. Maybe we do consolidate here for about a day, and then we continue to move higher. But regardless, tomato. Does it happen now? Does it happen tomorrow? The next day? I don't care. We're going to be moving up here pretty damn soon. 4-hour RSI looks like it's on the brink of seeing greatness here. Okay, rejecting the overbought zone is not ideal, but I'll tell you what. Whenever you reject the overbought zone, you normally reject it, and you go to the 50 or the 40. If you bounce any higher, if you bounce at the 60 area and you're back at the overbought zone again, I'm not convinced that we're going to get a double rejection here. I'm convinced that this is just a loading point before we get to the overbought zone. And when we get overbought in the 4-hour, if we notice here what happened, let me just do this real quick. Overbought there, overbought there, overbought there. Each of these lines are right at the moments that we got overbought on our 4-hour time frame. Let's just see what the price did back there. Okay, hold on. Let me delete that real quick. Well, when we got overbought on our 4-hour, we continued. When we got overbought, we continued. When we got overbought, we continued. And in fact, when we got overbought each of these times, it was right at the beginning of a breakout. Right at the beginning of a breakout. Right at the beginning of a breakout. Here we are, right at the beginning of a breakout move. Does it fit? Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. I think it makes sense. If we're looking at this here from this one, from the closing point when we were in the overbought zone to the relative high, that was a 58% pump. From the closing point when we were in the overbought zone to the relative high, that was a 40% pump. I think that's is it 29 or 39? 39, so 40%. 40%, 60% pump almost. And then here from the closing point to the, I don't know, man. Is this the relative high, 26%? Is this it, 79? Is this it, 145? I don't know. I want to say 145 is the one. So whether it's 40%, 140%, whatever, man, somewhere in between. I think we got a lot of growth to go. We've only just really gotten into the overbought zone here, so I'm going to take it from the current price. 40% would enable us to go to 15 cents, which might make sense. We stop right there. We could find a little turbulence there. But I doubt it. I doubt that we stop there entirely, right? I think that if we're breaking out and we're in our bull flag breakout, we're going to continue to impress higher. I don't expect that we're going to see a 145% move in just one fell swoop, right? I think that like this, there will be stages and phases. We'll be getting in and out of the overbought zone, right? And continuing to grow. There will be days of consolidation in between. I just don't think we're in one of those days right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this week, over the next 24 hours, if we were in fact above 15 cents. So here we are, just below 11 cents right now, likely going to see prices that are not just at 15 cents, but above 15 cents. It wouldn't surprise me if we ran up to 15 cents. We consolidated a little bit, right? We have our breakout move, we consolidate, and then we move up higher a day or two later, have that breakout move, consolidate, and then we move up higher, right? And then that's it. We might do exactly very similar things to this. If we do, I think it's important to take into context where these resistance points were on the RSI. They're all very similar to like the 85 area right there, 84.6. Resistance just above, resistance just below, resistance right at it there. I think that we will find resistance there. I wonder if we go back in time, do we have any resistance at these points? Yeah, a little bit right in that area, actually. Literally right there as you're growing, yeah. Direct resistance there, pretty direct resistance just above that area. So I think, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, I would anticipate that this move is not going to consolidate in the least until we at least interact with this. And it wouldn't surprise me if on a 4-hour time frame you get some kind of wick at the top like you did here. You see this wick? That implies that this RSI at some point during this candle was actually higher. It was higher, but then you came down and you closed lower, so that RSI went lower. So all I'm trying to say is this next area that we find resistance at, wherever it might be, I would expect, if you're looking at it as that 4-hour candle is happening before it's closed, you'll probably have a reading that is above this line, but then by the end of that candle, when it does close, you'll probably come down and close right around this line, right? Does that make sense? So I don't think we're done. In other words, we're at 10.9 cents now. I don't think we're done with this phase of the move until we at least get above 85 on the RSI on the 4-hour. And at the current rate, I would expect we either achieve that by the end of today or some point tomorrow. And maybe I'll take a trade. Maybe I'll trade in that position there. I don't know if I will. I'll explain why real quick, but let me just see real quick. What kind of volatility do we have here? 28% drop? Okay, that's enticing. What about here? 20% drop? All right, that is enticing. Maybe I will take a trade. The reason why, and here we are up at 11 cents already, the reason why I'm hesitant on trading this thing is because, you know, if we stop here at the 85, 86, that might be at 15 to 16 cents, and that's great. That's great. 11 cents to 15 to 16 cents in a day or two, that's great. That's phenomenal. But I have much higher aspirations for this thing. You know, I think that we will stop at targets that are above $1 by the end of June, if not by the end of July. So I don't want to get out too early, too soon. Probably $1.10 to $3, something in that area by the end of June, early July. Why would I mess that up here? But and the thing is, beyond that, trading this thing is not so easy for me, right? If I trade it, I'm essentially sacrificing 10% automatically. Like the price has to drop more than 10% for it to be worth my time. I have to like basically time the tops and the bottoms perfectly, because when I swap it on Coinbase Wallet, the amount of money that gets taken out, it basically, whenever it comes to selling and then buying back, it basically comes out to like 10% for whatever reason. I think it's the low liquidity. It's not the fees. It's the Solana fees are cheap. The Coinbase fee is not cheap, but it's not enough to be 10%. That's for damn sure. I think it's just the lack of liquidity on the dexes when you swap. So it basically equates to like a 10% deficit, essentially. Like when I sell, it's like a market buy and a market sell. I'm like getting taxed 10% in total, round tripping it. So if I sell anywhere, the price has to drop more than 10% for me to buy back in at the same level of coins that I had before I sold, right? Does that make sense? So I'm not really too keen on selling this thing, but depending on what happens, if we do make this next endeavor rather soon, if we make this endeavor in the time that I think we're going to, and we are up at like this 15 to 16 cent area, something like that, wherever the RSI might be, I don't care if we're at 14 cents. I'll sell. I'll look at the RSI and I'll sell. I'll let you guys know when I sell on X.com. I'll tell you. If you're not following me on X.com, at Chris Harris 85, that's me. C-Zar the Great, that's me with the purple laser eyes, right? I'll let you guys know when I sell. The only way that I would sell is if I could see this thing dropping like 20% or more, because then I'm confident that I could get a 10% deficit on that and double dip and make it worth my time. Or also another possibility might be if this happens as quickly as I think it's going to, and I think it will, I can sell there and then put it into another coin that hasn't moved up yet. Not Mudang, but like maybe Cookie DAO or XCN or some other coin. You know what I mean? There's plenty of coins that haven't taken off just yet. So anyways, that's my thoughts. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Good job, TAI. Good job. Love to see it. How much are you up on the day so far? 19% and counting. We're going to keep going. The calling is higher. I'll see you on the next one. Hit the like button. Bye-bye.